Let's go! This kick by Tennessee's Chase McGrath should not have counted versus Alabama. There was a blatant penalty that the Zebras missed, and before I continue, I want to see if you pick up on it.
Chase McGrath for the win for the Volunteers. From 40. On the way, a knuckleball. He got it!
Yeah, honestly, it wasn't my cleanest hit, but, had full confidence in Maddie, my snapper, Paxton, my holder, and that the line was going to protect me, so.
Boom, I'm looking at you. So I hope you've already subscribed and ring the bell. Now, I don't know if you guys actually picked up on it, but it was a penalty that you rarely actually see get called. And with slow motion replay, it is very clear that Chase McGrath himself was the one who committed the infraction of a false start penalty. Now, this sheriff right here did an honorable thing, handing this ball to this Tennessee ball boy. I would have grabbed it, ran off with it, and retired, but that's an honorable man right there. And I don't know if I would have done it, but it would have been tough. That would have been tough to leave that many people. And speaking of, well, I'm going to save that for the end. Now, normally with false starts, it's a lot more obvious to see it from, offensive linemen or protectors, whatever it may be. But obviously none of them budged in this spot right here. But as you'll see, McGrath does begin a slight lean forward before the ball is snapped. You can see even right here, he is starting to lean forward. The foot is already up before the ball is actually released from the lineman. You can still see right here, it is close. I'll give you that, but it is a false start penalty. Now, why is that important? Well, as you'll see right here, McGrath shouted out his protection, but it actually broke down. Now, my Twitter referees out there have been new rules that you can no longer block kicks by landing on one of these players, but I still think this is legal to use them as props to leap over the line. So 47 for Alabama, whose name slips my mind, is actually right here to block this kick, okay? And as you'll see, does he actually get a piece of this kick? Kind of tough to see from this angle.
I don't know if it was tipped. It may have been, judging off that ball flight. But
you look at it from this angle, it does look like 47 Byron Young here did get a pinky on it, okay? Look at how the ball is actually kicked off his foot, okay? And you could see just in super slow-mo here, it does look like it took a bit of a deflection, okay? So, two things could be true at once, right? The kick still could have gone in on a re-kick and Tennessee still win the game. And this is obviously not the only play that decided the outcome of this game. But at the same time, if he doesn't commit the false start penalty, remember, this pressure is coming directly up the middle. This is the worst place in any shape, form, or fashion to ever give up pressure in the passing game, the punting game, and obviously the field goal kicking game. This is a one place you don't want it coming from, right up the gut. If he did not get this early jump on the ball, he would have arrived at the ball at a half second later, and it would have been probably a cleaner tip of the ball, or potentially a more flush block of the kick if the ball was indeed tipped there. So, yes, it is not a gazillion % certain that Byron Young would have been able to block the kick if the false start penalty didn't happen, but it is without reasonable doubt getting the quicker start to the football itself definitely helped out that block not being kicked. I know that was a lot of philosophical stuff, but the truth is the kicker did gain an advantage, and committing the false start penalty did ultimately have a huge impact on the outcome of that play. Boom! I'm looking at you. Yes, you. Yet again. So, I would be the first to tell you a couple of things. There was nobody, and I mean nobody, that was happier to see Alabama lose than me. I did a video last week calling out Saban for some of his BS, and look, college football is better when Alabama loses. And on top of that, as a non-Tennessean, I don't necessarily hate Tennessee, but I'm not a fan of them. I really just don't have any feeling towards them at all. I was a big Peerless Price fan back in the day, so I know a lot of Tennessee fans are going to come at me in the comment section, but that's fine as well. I actually did want you to win because I believed in you maybe more than you believed in yourself, because one of the very first videos on this channel was me predicting Tennessee to win the SEC East. And on all the programs, including my other main channel, Power Hour LSU, I stumped for Tennessee more than anyone, and I received a bunch of hate for it. I honestly believed you guys were going to go out there and have the season that you're having, including picking you guys to beat my dear beloved LSU Tigers. So understand that I wanted you to win this game. I'm not just pointing at this one play. And I'll also bring this up as well. There was a missed call in favor of one of the famous LSU kicks in history. A few years ago in 2020 in the Swamp, there was a miss on a field goal attempt by Cade York that was more difficult than this one right here by McGrath. That video is floating in the top right corner of your screen, where I go into deeper detail, something that is a not really that much talked about aspect of the game of football, and that is missed calls on field goal kicks. I've spoken to a few referees about this. Field goal is one of the most difficult things to referee. Now, it may not seem like that, but that's what other referees have told me. There's just so much going on in a field goal that it's really difficult to see everything that may or may not happen. It could just be that there's so many people compressed on the field, and it's tough to see these things. But for the most part, it's just a difficult thing to officiate. There aren't really that many kicks during the course of a game compared to all the other types of just regular offensive and defensive plays. So, yes, the referees miss this call, but it is also something that is very, very, very difficult. I would also like to acknowledge here that, there were more than just those plays. And Alabama fans need to quit complaining about the pass interference thing. I did think the referees did an overall fine job on PI. It is honestly a very, very, very subjective thing. One thing that I don't think is really subjective, though, are false start penalties. And in that instance, leaning forward did help out. Now, I did find it interesting that McGrath's distance to the actual holder of the kick did seem to be a little bit shorter than your normal field goal kicker. So his short run up, I think, also helped out that kick. Well, it did. But overall, McGrath still made it. And that was a big, big, big time kick. Now, what's really interesting, and the thing that I find absolutely ridiculous, is the field goal post fundraiser that become of this, right? Starting a fundraiser to pay for the field goal posts that were torn down is absolutely ridiculous, especially knowing the money that Tennessee football generates. It is amongst one of the best fan bases, and of course they'll raise some money, and it's, whatever the case may be, how they actually pay to replace a field goal post, I don't know. But Tennessee, foot the daggum bill. Are you kidding me? $150K? There are plenty of boosters that would like to say, hey, look, those field goal posts, the ones that were torn down, that was me that paid to have new field goal post installed. I don't know what you can do. Maybe there's a booster out there that said, hey, I will pay for it. I'll give you a little bit more. Just put my name on the bottom of the field goal post or do something like that. But that is ridiculous. Really, Tennessee, Rocky Top. Your fight song, I will say this. Rocky Top is the best fight song in the SEC. Good old Rocky. You can ask my fiance. I was singing that in every airport this weekend. We made a trip to Chicago over the weekend. Rocky Top. Home sweet home to me. But obviously comment down below if you agree or disagree. Should this have been a false start penalty? But the scenes here from Knoxville was absolutely insane. And yeah, Bryce Young, Hendon Hooker, quarterback duel for the ages. One of the all-time best SEC quarterback duels you'll ever see. An underrated quarterback duel. I'll say this, right? Brandon Allen versus Dak Prescott. That I was actually there for that game. That was absolutely freaking insane. So yeah, if you got any other great SEC quarterback duels, comment down below. Okay, it is Power Hour SEC. Bam. And tonight, we're doing tacos on a Monday. You get it because you normally do it the day after. It's going to be good. Let's go.